Power Media.
And good evening, folks. Welcome to Peaden Seafood and Catering, home of the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you tonight by Pet Bark Retreat and Veterinary Hospital. I want to make sure we got that right. Pet Bark, is that right? River Bark. See, I knew I was going to get it wrong. Producer extraordinaire, Jake from State Farm back over there. Jake, I was going to say Jake. River Bark is our sponsor tonight. 2 locations, North Fayetteville on Ramsey Street, and of course their brand new locations on North Bragg Boulevard in Spring Lake. Just a wonderful facility. Doesn't matter what you're looking for your pet. I'm going to flip over and look at my notes here. River Bark Pet Retreat. If I would slow down, it would sound better. River Bark Pet Retreat, riverbarkpet.com, and riverbarkvet.com. We'll be talking more about them later. Exciting week in Trojan sports this week, folks. Big soccer match last night over at Strickland Stadium. We'll talk about that a little bit. Disappointing end of the season for the men Trojans as they go down at the hands of at the feet, I guess you would say, of the Cary Imps, 5-0. So congratulations to Isaac Rancour and all the Trojan soccer players on a great season. Second round playoff made it to this year after a conference championship. So we're hoping to have Isaac on to next week. As we'll be here again next week, coming to you from Peaden's Seafood and Catering. This week tonight they are having their all conference meeting. So they will be. So that's why he's not here tonight. We'd really hope to have him on this week, but we're going to be just stuck with just me and Bill Sochovka, and then Arrington is going to come on. We're going to talk about the Trojan band and what they're doing this week. They're actually not going to be at the game. This is going to be, I think, a first for us this Friday night, as the Trojans are going to take on the Cape Fear Fighting Colts. There's not going to be a band there at all. The Trojan band is heading down to Atlanta. They've got a big competition down there, and then the Colt band has already landed in Indianapolis. We got a call, I saw it on Facebook, from Principal Lee Spruill that they are going to be in Indianapolis marching at the Hoosier Dome, or the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, in a big competition for the marching Colts band. So lots to go over tonight. Basketball's right around the corner. Wrestling is right around the corner. I mean, winter sports are here. Swimming's here. We've already had the swimming team on. They've got their first meet next Wednesday night. Yours truly is typically the Mid-South referee, but I'll be right here talking playoff football with all you fine folks. And it's just going to be so they'll be in the pool next Wednesday night, but we'll be here again as long as the Pine Forest is in the playoffs. We'll be here, and then we'll transition over to basketball. Oh, that is just so cute over there. You can't see it off camera, but Coach is getting some loving from Mrs. Coach, and that's just so cute. We're going to talk about his weekend. We'll have Matthew on a little bit later. Matthew Sochovka, senior, as it will be senior night at Harold K. Warren Stadium this Friday night, talking about the 16 seniors that the Trojans have. Be honoring each one of those. Festivities start at 6:20. There's only 16 on the roster. That's what I've got to go by. Okay. Well, during the break, I'll make sure that I got them all. Because there was only 16 on the roster. Me and Jake went through the roster and made sure that I had everybody. But as usual, I was wrong. It's just you mean 6:20. All right. But, hey, we're waiting for Arrington to come back in here. So as soon as Arrington comes back in, we're going to go to commercial break. But, again, I want to thank everybody for coming out last night to the soccer match. I understand it was packed at Strickland Field for their game against Cary. Unfortunate that the Trojans came out on the short end of the stick, 5-0. But Cary and those Raleigh teams always have great soccer programs. Hats off to Isaac and all his staff. They did a great job this year of putting together a tougher schedule. They played more diverse teams in order to prepare them for this. And it just did, this year just wasn't their year. But a great season, conference champs for the men Trojans. Trojan men? There we go. Trojan men. And so just looking forward to big things. So you got 2 conference champions they had this year. You had the girls tennis team, conference champs in the Mid-South Conference, and you had the boys soccer conference champs in the Mid-South Conference. Football is going to go to the playoffs. We'll know all about that on Saturday, possibly into Sunday, where they're going to play, whether they'll have a home game or not, whether they'll be on the road. You'll have all the information right here on Pack Power Media, where you'll be able to get all that information and be able to make your travel plans, or go ahead and make your plans for a big tailgate on Friday if the Trojans are going to be playing a home game. But, hey, we're going to step away for a couple of messages. One is going to be from Riverbark Pet Retreat, our sponsor here tonight on the Trojan Coaches Show, coming to you live from Peaden Seafood and Catering. When we come back, we're going to talk some music. We're going to talk Trojan Band with Arrington. We'll be right back.
Behind the gates at Gates 4 Golf and Country Club.
One of the area's premier gated communities, featuring an 18-hole championship golf course, a beautiful 3/4-mile exercise trail with a children's play area, 4 new USTA tennis courts and pavilion, perfect for weddings and receptions, a family-friendly pool with cover patio, and our clubhouse offers many dining options along with live entertainment and dancing.
Golf, swimming, tennis, dining. Learn more about membership at gates4.com.
Are you remodeling? The Restore Warehouse, Fayetteville's new and used home improvement alternative, is the area leader in new and used home and building supplies. Donate furniture, appliances, cabinets, lighting, windows, doors, or bath items. All donations are tax deductible. The Restore Warehouse also sells new kitchen cabinets, tile, flooring, and vanities for less. Plus, all net profits are donated to local Fayetteville area charities. Donate, shop, save, and support your community. Call now to schedule your free donation pickup.
Pack Power Media.
Hey, welcome back to the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you this week by Riverbark Pet Retreat. We come to you each and every Wednesday night from Peaden Seafood and Catering, 1600 MacArthur Road, 488-1972 for the best shrimp, chicken, barbecue. Man, I cannot wait to get my chicken for the way home. Oh, it's going to be so good. But we're going to talk a little band. You know, we haven't had the band out here. We had them lined up for homecoming, and then we got rained out. So tonight we're going to talk to Arrington Duffer about the band. Arrington, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Now, Arrington and I have some history because her mom, Krista, and I went to high school together, graduated in 1985. She's got a junior daughter, and I've got a daughter that's 10. I don't know what happened there, but she started earlier, of course, because girls always start everything earlier. But you're a junior clarinet player. How long have you been playing in the marching band?
3 years.
3 years? You like it?
I love it.
What's the best thing about being in the marching band?
The traveling to the competitions.
And so, are you first chair clarinet?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. What happened? Did you get knocked off?
Yes, I did.
Did somebody challenge you?
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, you couldn't hit the high C note?
Nope.
What about the low C note?
Yeah, I could hit that one.
You could hit that one?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all like to travel. So where are some of the places that y'all travel to, and then we'll talk about why you travel?
We've been to Greensboro. Last year we went to Tennessee. We've been to Charlotte, Raleigh, Atlanta.
And why do you travel? I mean, is that y'all going to watch bands, like live music,
Yeah.
like at House of Blues?
No, we just do different competitions with bands. Usually like 71st and E.E. Smith go as well, and then bands from across the nation, across the state.
And what I mean, does y'all actually just sit and play, or do y'all have to do routines?
We do our whole show,
Do
like
your
our whole
whole-
field show.
What's the coolest thing about your field show?
The dance break.
The dance break.
Yes.
You like to get down on it?
I do.
Can you show us right here?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Well, were you not prepared? Did you not get a chance to warm up?
I can't dance.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're here with Arrington Duffer. We're talking about the Pine Forest Trojan Marching Band here on the Trojan Coaches Show. This weekend, y'all get to go to a competition.
Yes, sir.
Where are you going?
Atlanta.
Atlanta, GA?
Yes.
Capital of the South?
Yes, sir.
You ever been to Atlanta before?
We have. We went my freshman year.
Big town.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get any free time? You going to go down to Underground or maybe to Hard Rock down there on Peachtree
We
Street?
go to Hard Rock every year.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
places.
it's great.
You go to the Greg Allman Corner. If you go and get a picture of the Greg Allman Corner, because I know your mom likes the Allman Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go down there and get a picture of Greg Allman and say, hey, Mom, look, here I am. So who will you be competing against this week in Atlanta?
Bands that are nationwide. Yep, like 71st usually goes, sometimes Westover, Minor High School from Tennessee.
And they're all pretty good?
Amazing.
So are y'all consistent winners? I mean, do you place in where you get awards?
We placed third in the nation last year.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who knew that we had the third best marching band in the country at Pine Forest High School? Now, how do they grade y'all? Because it seems like Cape Fear's an award-winning band. E. Smith has an award-winning band. 71st has an award-winning band. So can I just give y'all an award and tell y'all are an award-winning band?
Well, there's different categories, like we have our marching, our music, drum majors, dance, flags, and so we get a score in each of those categories, and it adds to the overall score.
Okay, and so are y'all the overall third best in the nation?
We were last year, yes,
Where'd
sir.
you go to get that? Where was that competition held?
It was in Nashville, or
Memphis,
Tennessee. Mm-hmm.
Did you eat some barbecue?
Yes.
Was it better than this?
No.
No, it's different barbecue, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Really different barbecue. Best part about Friday night that while you enjoy playing in the marching band, is it the boys in tight uniforms? Is it the people? Is it?
Well, supporting the football players, that's a main thing, and then the tunnel afterwards is fun.
Well, tell us about that, because I got to see it for the first time when you played 71st a couple of weeks ago, and y'all just got out there on the field, and it was like y'all were doing the Soul Train Shuffle out there. It seemed like every instrument group got to go down the line and do the shuffle and the dance party USA.
Yeah, so all of our sections line up, and each section takes a turn marching through, and we do a little dance and watch the other sections. It's so fun.
And then the tubas are playing, the drum line is playing. I mean, it's loud. I mean, y'all seem like y'all played almost till midnight.
We do sometimes, especially on homecoming.
And that was good. Unfortunately, didn't turn out too well, but we'll talk about that. Maybe not even talk about that later. That was 2 weeks ago. I mean, that's just so. I mean, that's like pre-election stuff. So, we want to talk about that. So, what are you looking forward to about going to Atlanta?
Competing and spending time with my friends in the band. It's fun.
So what music do you get to play?
Mainly just our show music and the music we play in the stands during the games.
What is that? That's what I was asking. What are the names of the songs? I mean, you playing Billie Jean? Or are you playing anything like that?
We play Velvet Rope. We play a bunch of popular songs like This Could Be Us, Look at My Dad, like stuff that's popular usually.
All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you for tuning in, because not only is she bright and bubbly and a member of the marching band, but she also works here at Peaden. So that's why we pulled her in tonight to talk about the marching band, because, what better way to show our support than to have her on there, because something just came out. Oh, no, more hush puppies. Who would have thought that Matthew and Nate have already eaten some hush puppies?
I know.
Hey. So, all right. Well, you're welcome anytime. Mom, look at this. I got your daughter on here. We didn't tell you. Her mom and I did go to high school together, so that's why we wanted to have her on tonight. But thank you. You do a wonderful job here every week. If you want the best waitress at Peaden's, come in and ask for Arrington. She's here all the time. Come out and support her. When we come back, we're going to have head coach Bill Sochovka. We'll talk a little bit about the 71st game, and then we'll really get into the Cape Fear game coming up this week. It's going to be senior night. We're going to talk about the 18 seniors, and we're going to talk about the upcoming state playoffs when all that information comes out on Saturday or Sunday. But you're watching to do the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you by Riverbark Pet Retreat, with 2 locations, North Ramsey Street and North Bragg Boulevard in Spring Lake. We'll be right back.
Discover what's behind the gates at Gates 4 Golf and Country Club.
One of the area's premier gated communities, featuring an 18-hole championship golf course, a beautiful 3/4-mile exercise trail with a children's play area, 4 new USTA tennis courts and pavilion, perfect for weddings and receptions, a family-friendly pool with cover patio, and our clubhouse offers many dining options along with live entertainment and dancing.
Golf, swimming, tennis, dining. Learn more about membership at gates4.com.
Are you remodeling? The Restore Warehouse, Fayetteville's new and used home improvement alternative, is the area leader in new and used home and building supplies. Donate furniture, appliances, cabinets, lighting, windows, doors, or bath items. All donations are tax deductible. The Restore Warehouse also sells new kitchen cabinets, tile, flooring, and vanities for less. Plus, all net profits are donated to local Fayetteville area charities. Donate, shop, save, and support your community. Call now to schedule your free donation pickup.
Pack Power Media.
Hey, welcome back to the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you tonight by Riverbark Pet Retreat, 2 locations, Ramsey Street and North Bragg Boulevard in Spring Lake. And this is cool. Now, we were talking about them. That's riverbarkpet.com and riverbarkvet.com. Ramsey Street, North Bragg Boulevard. They've got boarding, therapy, education, a pet salon, a doggy daycare, and recreation. I mean, how cool is this? So they got a 20 by 40 indoor heated pool where you can take your pet to go swimming. Unbelievable. Yep, open year-round, so you can take your pet to go swimming. They got doggy daycare. It provides a wonderful, stimulating environment, a large indoor, I'm assuming air-conditioned and heated area, and a large outdoor play area, grooming services. Now, their therapy. Now, when we were looking at this, they got an underwater treadmill, and all I could see was the Jetsons.
Underwater.
All I can see is the Jetsons and Astro getting George on the treadmill and just going crazy. And then next thing, George is on the treadmill. But they've got a land treadmill. They've got laser therapy, canine massage therapy. So if your dog needs a mani-pedi and just needs a day away, go to riverbarkpet.com and take them out there. We can't wait to take our dogs. We've been taking our dogs to Dr. Dale for a number of years. He's treated all 3 of them. Great vet. So go see Dr. Dale at riverbarkvet.com. Coach, last time we saw you, you were getting ready for a big game you hadn't played in about 3 weeks, as you were getting ready to re-ramp up, kind of like starting over. We talked about that, taking on 71st, who hadn't played in 22 days. It was homecoming for you guys, so you had all those distractions and didn't really came out on the short end of the stick. Let's just leave it that way. As 71st came out, and it seemed like they were really fired up and scored on their first 3 possessions, and before you blinked, it was 21-0.
Well, that, and also it didn't help that we gave them turnovers. I think we had 4 turnovers in the first quarter that resulted in, I think, 27 points for them. So from the offensive standpoint, we weren't very, very good in that regard. And they were very. I knew they would be very physical, which they always are. And we didn't do a very good job, obviously, stopping their run game. I forget they had over 300 yards rushing on us. And Coach McLaurin did a really good job in making sure that there was no way that we were able to bounce back, like we have in the past, being down in the first quarter. They just kept coming at us, and before we knew it, we were out of our game. We were trying to throw the ball a lot more than what we normally do. We counted on film. We had 15 legit passes that were dropped by our wide receivers, and then if that didn't happen, Julian was constantly having a lot of their linebackers in his face, would put pressure on us. So I guess you could say from the standpoint about a perfect storm, they were hitting it in all gears that night in terms of 71st. Very good football team. As I read in the paper, they said they had a lot to prove to a lot of people, and it was a makeup call. Is that the word I'm looking for from the K-Fear game?
Yeah, I do believe they had a little bit of makeup from the K-Fear game, and we've talked about that off camera. A questionable call, and as I was at Cape Fear Friday night for their game against Southview, and kind of talked about that, and like, oh, you can't hit. And for those of you who didn't see, you can go back to Pack Power Media on our YouTube channel and watch the game from October the 6th is when that game was played, 71st at Cape Fear. It happened in the second half. Punt, and the center snaps the ball. He stands up and he gets hit, and they're saying, the rule I was told, as it was explained to me, is you cannot hit the center until he makes a move to go downfield. Is that the way it was explained to you?
Yes, at least 1 or 2 steps.
And I've never seen it called before.
My 22 years, never, ever have I ever seen that call.
And haven't seen it called since.
No, that's the first time ever I've heard that ever being called, and I didn't even think they even looked for it, to be honest, because we're told that you can't even line up over the center on the punt. You have to be back off at least 2 feet so that they have the opportunity to take that step. So if that person is standing there 2 feet and the center snaps and takes that 1 step, then there's a step that he needs to be playable, I guess you could say.
Because I went back and watched it 2 or 3 times on a big screen so that I could really see it. He snaps the ball, he stands up, and he assumes the position, and he got popped. But it wasn't my call to make. We questioned it when it happened. I know Duran McLaurin was not happy, but that turned the difference between a 4th down punt and a automatic first down, and Cape Fear going down and driving for a touchdown, and that ended up being the difference in the game as Cape Fear won 29-27. But we're here to talk Trojans football with head coach Bill Sochovka. Positives that you pulled out of the game 2 weeks ago, almost 10 days ago now, against 71st, that you can use to build on this Friday night as you take on 10-0 Cape Fear?
Well, the lesson learned, I guess you'd say, is that we have to be more physical like we were in the beginning of the year across the board on both sides of the ball. It seems like as the year has gone long, we've become less physical, less aggressive in both cases. And that really came back to hurt us against a very physical team against 71st, which we knew that we were going to see that. The week before, we weren't, we played over hills, so our average or lackluster physicality, was just good enough for us to play and beat them. But we knew that wasn't going to happen with 71st, and we also know that with Cape Fear and whoever we see in the playoffs, we can't play that passive against these teams if we still want to be able to play on every Friday night.
Head coach Bill Sochovka, as we're here on the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you by River Park Pet Retreat. It's going to be senior night this week. 18 seniors coming down the list. I'm going to turn my list over here. These kids have been with you for 3 or 4 years, most of them?
Longer. A lot of these kids I know because they're my son's friend. I've known them since his elementary years. So they're definitely a unique, special group in terms of seeing them growing up from, 7, 8 years old, watching them play rec ball, watching them play middle school ball, and then playing for me. So it's more than just a normal class of kids that I've had for 4 years. I've seen them, known them, most of them, all of their adult life, at least a good portion of it. So it's good to see, being a coach, you always want to see take a person and make them a better person in those 4 years. And that group of kids you have in front of them, there's some very, very, very outstanding people that are going to do some positive things in this world for us. And And everyone has their unique story. Everyone has their unique personalities. But it's great to see them growing as young men and focusing on the future and having a plan for what they want to do after they graduate from high school.
And I can tell you're kind of getting emotional about it, just sitting here talking about it. As we're talking about senior night coming up this Friday at Pine Forest High School, 18 seniors. I'm going to go through my list, and Sheila, you let me know who I miss. We got the team mom over here, so we got Nate Graham, who's in attendance. We'll talk to him a little bit later. Bryce Dickerson, Matthew Sochovka, William Sturdivant III, Anthony Pearson, Desmond Ray, Xavier Williams, Jordan Chadwick, Carson Cole, Holden Faircloth, Shiante G, Dakari Davis, Cam Calloway, Bradley Louise, Lentz, Xavier Williams, and Christian Kopf.
And Willis Anthony's the other
Willis
one.
Anthony's the other one. So,
Trying to think who
and we're trying to think who the other one is.
Josh Jensen.
Josh Jensen is the 18. So 18 seniors. Will Willis be there Friday night?
We don't know. We're actually, when we get done here, he got released again Monday, so we're going to go over and see him after the taping of this and see what if he's able to walk out with his mom. So we'll let you know.
So what's planned for Friday night? Do I need to ask Sheila?
No, she's not going to come up and tell you, but I just basically show up. There's I have a unique bunch of women, parents, moms who've gotten together over the last 2 or 3 years and have a set thing they're going to do for the seniors on Friday night. I really can't say because I got 2 of them sitting in the audience. So there's some pretty neat stuff, and a lot of time was spent on it by their parents, especially their mothers, in preparing for this. So, the 2 or 3 minutes that they get the recognition, really isn't a lot for what the sacrifice that those kids have made for 4 years, sweat and tears in the summertime. The last 2 years we really haven't had winning seasons, so they had to endure that. But you look back on it, like I said before, you think about the football aspect of it, but you also think about the social aspect about seeing them grow as young men and being able to say that they're going to do something positive in their life. Whether it's going to military or go to college, but there's a foundation for them to be successful.
Now, I'm going to put you to the spot on one of these guys. I don't know who it's going to be, and you don't know the question I'm going to ask, so you don't know what it's going to be. But 4 years ago, when they set foot on Pine Forest High School as a freshman, you were like, you're going to play football? And now that they're seniors getting ready to play the last game, who's blown your mind with their work ethic and how far they've come and done the most with what they had?
Well, I'm going to ad-lib a little bit. This one particular boy did not want to play middle school football. Did not. Hated it. Was a traumatic experience for him. Twice. He just didn't like it at all. He didn't come out his freshman year. Finally came out his sophomore year, and he stuck with it. And then last year, as a junior, we had a situation where he was a very good practice player, but he listened, he learned, he got better, and we threw him in against 71st last year. He made some pretty big hits for us. We're like, dang, and then he had the confidence in him that he put the time in the weight room, ran track, so that where he was able to go from at best a second string player as a junior to now where he sees a lot of time for us in the secondary. And if you would have told me this year that boy, that young man, would be playing football like he is for us, I would say no way. He was just going to be one of those kids, a good practice player, and that was Josh Jensen.
Very good. Comes had a brother that played for you.
Yes, Jake doing very well.
Wingate, tight end at Wingate. He was a preseason all-conference selection down there at Wingate. So we've had Josh here a couple of times. He's the SGA president, so lots of duties. We'd hoped to have him on 2 weeks ago, but they had the Powder Puff game at the same time the show was going on. So we'll try for a little better scheduling next year to make sure that we get them back on there. But that's great. I know you could probably tell stories on each one of these kids, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I did want to know who you thought had kind of gone the farthest and done the best with the least, and really kind of put it out there. And Josh Jensen, you're our unsung Brian Piccolo unsung hero award tonight.
You have to explain about. Now, the true story why Josh wasn't here wasn't because of the Powder Puff game, because he was practicing his cheerleading moves for the Powder Puff game.
Oh, that's right. They practicing his moves as only cheerleaders could do. Now, was he? Well, I can't say that. If we did have the cheerleaders on, so was he as good as White Sauce and Mary Catherine?
No, but I do have a picture of Nate is great in a cheerleading outfit. I'll have to show you later.
Oh.
Maybe we can put it on the screen. Where's my phone at?
Oh, Nate is dangerous in a cheerleading outfit. All right. Well, we're going to work on that during the break. When we come back, we're going to take we'll take an in-depth look at Cape Fear, the game coming up this Friday night. Senior night kickoff at 7 o'clock, Harold K. Warren Stadium. Festivities for senior night are going to kick off at 6:20, so you want to get there early as we celebrate these 18 seniors in their 4 years and what could be their last home game at Pine Forest High School, depending on what happens with the seeding for the state playoffs. We'll talk a little bit about that poll process, how it's changed this year, and where Bill thinks the Trojans are going to end up. But it's the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you by Pet Bark. That ain't it. Riverbark Pet Retreat and Veterinary Hospital. We'll be right back.
Discover what's behind the gates at Gates 4 Golf and Country Club.
One of the area's premier gated communities, featuring an 18-hole championship golf course, a beautiful 3/4-mile exercise trail with a children's play area, 4 new USTA tennis courts and pavilion, perfect for weddings and receptions, a family-friendly pool with cover patio, and our clubhouse offers many dining options along with live entertainment and dancing.
Golf, swimming, tennis, dining. Learn more about membership at gates4.com.
Are you remodeling? The Restore Warehouse, Fayetteville's new and used home improvement alternative, is the area leader in new and used home and building supplies. Donate furniture, appliances, cabinets, lighting, windows, doors, or bath items. All donations are tax deductible. The Restore Warehouse also sells new kitchen cabinets, tile, flooring, and vanities for less. Plus, all net profits are donated to local Fayetteville area charities. Donate, shop, save, and support your community. Call now to schedule your free donation pickup.
Pack Power Media.
Donuts.
He showed him. He had a 6-pack of donuts. Anyway, welcome back to the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you by Riverbark Pet Retreat. That's riverbarkpet.com and riverbarkvet.com. Go see Dr. Dale, all the friendly staff over there, 2 locations, Ramsey Street right across from Reed Ross. I couldn't say the other 2 places where they're across from. And then North Bragg Boulevard in Spring Lake, where they got the 20x40 indoor pool. They got the pet therapy, the underwater treadmill, who just keeps bringing up George Jetson to me. But that's Riverbark Pet Retreat. This Friday night, senior night at Harold K. Warren Stadium. Do you want to talk to Boyette? We want to put Boyette on the air?
No, I'll get it later.
His Cape Fear is going to make their way across the river, 10-0, 5-0, already wrapped up pretty much the conference championship. They hold the tiebreaker over 71st. That's 71st only loss. You know, they're the offensive juggernaut. They're averaging 400 yards a game on offense. 234 of that is rushing, and they're led by their quarterback, Justice Galloway Velasquez, a junior. What makes the big guy so tough to defend when he's back there in the pocket?
Well, I think he doesn't stay very long in the pocket. If he gets any pressure, you know, from what we see, he's got one read to throw the ball, and if that person's not open, and if he's got an alleyway, he's going to run it. So, what I would do too is, as big as he is and physical as he is, and put the ball in his hands. And how goes the offense is how he goes. You know, you contain him. They do have some pretty good wide receivers, but he's pretty much the key factor to that offense. And you know, pretty stout. They know that, and they say, all right, come and try to stop us. So he's pretty impressive as a player. Commands the offense very well.
We saw them Friday night against Southview at home, their senior night. Rodney Brewington, they came out with a great game plan. I mean, they totally had them confused. They got a couple of lucky breaks with the punt, with the fake punt, and then the fourth down touchdown. But you know, he tried a couple of gimmicks. He did a great job of keeping their offense off the field, making the play clock go down to single digits, 3, 2, 1, before they snapped the ball, and really trying to control the clock. I thought they had a great game plan.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the film, I thought pretty much Southview for the whole first quarter dominated, because I think it was 14-0 at the end of the first quarter.
It was 7-0, and then they scored a touchdown in the second quarter.
And I think just what happened was
no, you're right. It was 14-0 first quarter. I'm sorry.
I think one of the things about Cape Fear that I think the unsung hero is their defense, and I think the defense kept them, particularly in the second quarter. They started putting pressure on Brewington, blitzing their linebackers, and that was able to take them out of their game plan a lot. So I think when you think about Cape Fear in terms of as a team is, you know, yes, they have Justice on the offensive side of the ball, but their defense flies around pretty hard. They're pretty athletic, and they play what I call mayhem defense. Man, they're going to bring everybody they can. They might give up a big play here or there, but they're okay with that because their offense does
score 40 points a game.
Right, and the other thing is that puts makes it easier for a defensive coordinator knowing that you have an offense that can put up that many points. You could be a lot more aggressive in your play calling.
Well, Jake Thomas came up as a defensive guy. He was a defensive coordinator for Wayne Inman. Terry Sanford followed Brian Till to Cape Fear, was a defensive coordinator. Now he's in his fourth year on the job, and it's, you know, from a broadcaster's perspective, watching them take the step up every year. You know, second round of the playoffs last year, first round the year before, now 10-0 conference champ. They've had a nice progression up. So the good group of seniors. And you talk about that defense they've got over there, plus 15 on the turnover. I mean, they've created 22 turnovers as a defense, and led by Jackson Parker and Chris Matthews and the two linebackers. And you're right, I caught some video of them Friday night crushing Donovan.
I saw your website, yeah.
Crushing Donovan Brewington. I mean, and the people just are amazed at that clip, at the pursuit by particularly Jackson Parker coming from the far side of the field around the end and just leveling Donovan Brewington. How do you defend that? What do you do to try to take them out of their element?
Well, I think the best thing is to try to keep them off balance, give them different formations, give them different looks that they're not used to, and try to attack them in their bubbles, because when you blitz and you're going to give up something. And that's the nature of it. And you just got to make sure you take advantage of that blitz, and you're able to get enough yards where they now have to sit back on their heels, and you take them out of that scheme. A lot of times, quick slants, quick passes, things like that will help. I think Southview threw a couple of screens on them because they were coming and worked pretty well for them.
Threw one for a touchdown on fourth down.
On fourth down, so that kind of puts your linebackers with their heels, you know, on the ground a little bit more because you don't want to rush as much. But like I said, the big factor is they can afford to do that because their offense puts up so much points.
Yeah, Riverboat Rodney Brewington, you know, made all the right calls I thought up until a minute and 40 seconds left to go in the first half, ball on the 19-yard line, 4th and 2, and he goes for it and doesn't make it. And I kind of felt like they'd done a great job up to that point, taking the Cape Fear home crowd out of the ball game. I mean, they're quiet, they're sitting on their hands, trying to figure out what's going on. All you got to do, but he'd run that play numerous times and picked up that yard and a half in the first half, but he didn't get it there, and it really opened up the door for Cape Fear.
Yeah, you got sometimes, as coaches, you make a decision like that, and either you're the genius guy or you're the most stupidest guy on the block. And that's just the nature. You have to be a risk taker to sometimes. And sometimes you want to keep that momentum going, like you said, because it helps your team. And also, something as big as that, getting that first down and going for it as he did, if he had gotten it, could have taken more air out of the Cape Fear side of the ball, and also meant that Cape Fear's offense doesn't step on that field.
And they ended up getting the second. They scored after they stopped them on 4th down, got the second half kickoff, got the big kick return, scored. Now all of a sudden it's 14-14. The crowd's in the game, and it was, as they say in the James Bond movie, game, set, and match. And it was kind of much over from there. But as we're talking to Bill Sochovka, previewing their game this Friday night versus Cape Fear Senior Night at Harold K. Warren Stadium, 7 o'clock kickoff, 6:20 is when the festivities are going to start. So go ahead and get there early. Go ahead and buy your tickets. It's going to be a great game as the Trojans take on their longtime rival, the Cape Fear Colts. Coach, you're coming in 3 losses this season, but you pretty much know you're going to get a playoff spot somewhere, somehow. Little change this year is only the conference champion is guaranteed a spot. After that, it's records. So it's the best in the East, best in the West. I know you've looked at some of the message boards. You've seen some of the mock projections out there. Biggest thing I saw from the 29th to the 5th was Scotland flipped east to west, and I know that would impact you because you were in the small 4A bracket based on school attendance, average daily membership, versus having them in the West. Is that a big deal to have Richard Bailey and his guys? I know you've known Richard for a long time. You're on Dean Saffos' staff together.
I think from what I saw from high school, the bracket that we're in, if I'm correct, that they have us going to West Johnson, and I'm sure Matt's going to correct me on this, and I think then we play the winner of Cape Fear Rose.
But that's a 3-way tie.
Right.
So you really don't know who's good between Conley, Newbern, and Rose.
And exactly. And those schools play each other, and I know
they've already played each other.
Right.
I got a buddy that's their play-by-play guy. So Conley beat Newbern beat Rose, and Rose beat Conley.
Yeah.
So.
And we've seen Rose before, and D.H. Conley, I think one game they put up 80 points on a ABA cock, and the game before that, I think it was between them and Rose. It was like 72 to 67 was the final.
They couldn't catch a cold.
Yeah, and
couldn't stop somebody from anybody.
So, but I mean, I like I like where we're at. If things hold true and we go to West Johnson. We had scrimmaged them, not this summer, but the summer before, 7-on-7. I know Jimmy Williams well. Sam Hales is their offensive coordinator. He and I coached together under Dean Saffos. He's a really good friend of mine. So, in fact, I texted him. He never texted me back, which kind of, I think he was surprised to find out the possibility we'd be playing each other. But, no, as I tell the kids, we're in. It's do or die. You made it to the third season. There's a lot of teams who haven't, and it's something we haven't done in 2 years. So we're a little bit disappointed in the fact that we thought maybe we had a chance at playing Cape Fear Friday night for a conference title. The loss obviously to Southview and to 71st put us out of that, and I think the bigger thing is when we lost Willis Anthony for the year at running back, that really changed our dynamic as an offense. And we're not the same offense we were before that because we're a little bit more one-dimensional, really two-dimensional with Julian and Levante and teams. Key off us on it. With Willis, we had an inside running game. Levante, we had an outside running game. Julian, we had a passing game. So we're trying very hard to get back to that. particularly this week, and then see how it works in the playoffs.
So Cape Fear this Friday night. Then you spend Saturday hanging out, waiting for the text, waiting for the brackets, because the North Carolina High School Athletic Association will be doing the brackets up in Chapel Hill or in Raleigh, and then they email them to you. You get a chance to check them.
Well,
What kind of roller coaster ride is that for a coach?
I just sit when I know, and this is kind of funny. I'll actually sit and wait for the opposing coach to contact me. I know that doesn't sound right, but because I used to be that person that would get on those boards and look and blah blah blah, and I just I stopped doing it. I said because I think the one year they had to redo it twice, so we didn't know until Sunday who we're playing, and people don't realize that's with technology it's not so bad, but back in the day where you'd have to go travel, meet person halfway, that's a long Sunday, and then come back and break their film down and things like that and get ready for Monday. I was reading something on high school OT that there's a new computer system they're using, and from what I gathered, it seems like they kind of already know who's seated where, even before Friday night.
I saw something about the max preps ratings and rankings, and I didn't understand that because I went and looked at 71st. And 71st has a state rank of 44 and a national rank of 1,400. And then Southeast Raleigh, who were paired up against, had a state rank of 128 and a national ranking of like 3,500. But yet they're still going to be playing in Southeast Raleigh, and that didn't make any sense to me at all. So I was kind of like going, okay, maybe somebody flip-flopped those numbers because I didn't get that at all. How a number 2 team from a conference can travel to a number 4 team at another conference, even though the number 2 team's got a better record. So I didn't understand the power rankings, the North Carolina High School power rankings, for lack of a better terminology.
And I don't know. Doing this for 1 year, the only thing I obviously is because next year we're going to have all new conferences, and there's we're going to be in a 3A, 4A split conference. So I don't know if that has anything to do with making it more viable and possible, and I guess fair would be the word for teams to get in based upon records or non-records or conference records. So, you go from having, back in the late 90s where in Cumberland County with the old Mid-South, usually the top 3 teams got in. In other conferences, it was just your top 2, and that's it. The rest of people were sitting home. So you knew
every game counted.
You knew every game counted, and you knew by, mid-October easily if you're in or not. And then they went to the other system, and, you had some teams that were 0-10 getting in. They put their stuff up and what? We got to go play somebody. So, it's just our dynamics have changed, particularly when you look at the population in Raleigh and Charlotte and all the schools that are coming in there. And nobody really wants to go to a 5A system because of the travel. But you're going to see, and now we have 8 state champions because of that, because of big 4A, small 4A, so forth and so on.
All based on membership. I mean, I saw South Meck, or one of the schools in the Mecklenburg, had 3,500 students. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you guys have 1,400?
We're like 1,600. So
1,600, so twice as big.
Yeah. And that's a big difference because, we talked about this as a coach, even with Southview and Jack Britt, who tend to be our biggest ones in our county, there are maybe 2,200. They're still pretty small going to play a lot of the Raleigh teams. And Brian Remf, Coach Rick, made a good point. He says, for every one freshman quarterback that I get coming into my system, they have 3.
Yeah,
and
big difference.
And that's a big difference. So then you offensive lineman, defensive lineman, that type of system, and you could have so there's a lot of parity, or I should say there's disparity among that system, because even when you go big 4A and you got 3,500, you're playing somebody that's got 2,100. That's not. That's
30% more. Right. 30% more kids. So
and then a lot of people say the same thing about Scotland, Richmond have a county school in Hope County, so. And all their schools feed into
the one.
So if you got 2 or 3 middle schools that feed into you, and you could kind of mold them, and everybody's on the same system.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's the same color, So you could kind of start breeding that caliber kid as early as the 7th grade.
So it'd be like you guys in E. Smith being one school,
Yeah.
basically on the north side of town.
And that's the funny thing is we have us and Richard or Scotland are pretty close in numbers. In fact, I think sometimes we're higher than they are, but it's just the parameter of the whole
One county.
and
One county school.
system, same thing with Richmond. And
Great game there Friday night.
I heard, and that's one of the concerns with 71st and Jack Brick going in there is like they're going into a system which they've been in before where you have a good number of Hope County, Scotland County, Richmond County schools where they can kind of do whatever they want. Nobody's looking over their shoulder to see, hey, are they following the rules? Not saying that they're not following the rules, but
I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, but I mean there's a difference, and
It's going to be interesting next year. Those guys they're going to play big boy football.
Yeah,
I mean Pinecrest is a huge. Chris Metzger's done a great job.
He's done a great job in turning that program around because remember they wanted to shut it down. They wanted to close it down, but they also changed the culture of that school. It used to be a big soccer school. I mean, it was never called a football field. It was called the soccer stadium, and that was changed very quickly. But that's an impressive program, and I think it's only going to get better because of the people moving in that area, because of the environment they have, and the school itself is a pretty good school, and he does a very good job with his kids. He's very well organized. He's got a real passion for what he does, and he's got a staff that follows him the same way.
Even though they got dinged last year for a violation of rules and they had to miss the playoffs, but looking strong again. There are only 2 losses: 1 loss to Richmond, 1 loss to Scotland, and that's kind of as good as they can do. Maybe pull an upset every now and then. But Coach, great having you on again tonight. Looking forward to seeing you Friday night. Will be the Mid-South Sports Game of the Week, so you can hopefully watch it here on Pack Power. We've got one more logistical thing to work out, and then you can listen to us on Sunny 94.3. But we'll see you Friday night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, it's going to be senior night at Harold K. Warren Stadium. We're going to celebrate the 18 seniors. Going to got 3 of them here. We're going to talk to, rotate them in between now and the end of the program, and so don't go anywhere. We've still got lots to come. Nate is here. We're going to see if we can get that picture up there of Nate in a I was going to say a tutu, but a cheerleader's uniform. Matthew's here. Willis just walked in. Great stuff going on here at Peaden's. Again, they're brought to you tonight by Riverbark Pet Retreat. We'll be right back from Peaden's Seafood and Catering.
Discover the gates at Gates 4 Golf and Country Club.
One of the area's premier gated communities, featuring an 18-hole championship golf course, a beautiful 3/4-mile exercise trail with a children's play area, 4 new USTA tennis courts and pavilion, perfect for weddings and receptions, a family-friendly pool with cover patio, and our clubhouse offers many dining options along with live entertainment and dancing.
Golf, swimming, tennis, dining. Learn more about membership at gates4.com.
Are you remodeling? The Restore Warehouse, Fayetteville's new and used home improvement alternative, is the area leader in new and used home and building supplies. Donate furniture, appliances, cabinets, lighting, windows, doors, or bath items. All donations are tax deductible. The Restore Warehouse also sells new kitchen cabinets, tile, flooring, and vanities for less. Plus, all net profits are donated to local Fayetteville area charities. Donate, shop, save, and support your community. Call now to schedule your free donation pickup.
Pack Power Media.
And welcome back to the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you this week by Riverbark Pet Retreat. Go to riverbarkpet.com, riverbarkvet.com. Whether you're looking for boarding, therapy, education, a pet salon, a doggy daycare, or recreation, they are doing it all. Go see Dr. Dale, riverbarkpet.com, riverbarkvet.com. Ramsey Street across from Reed Ross Classical School. I'm still going to call it a high school. Always has been, always will be. Or North Bragg Boulevard in Spring Lake. We got Nate is Dangerous. Go ahead and throw that picture up of Nate right now. Man, look at that. Look at those two, too. I'm just kidding. It's all good. Nate was a cheerleader for the Powder Puff game. But, man, those 71st Falcons, boy, they hit, don't they?
Yeah, they're pretty physical.
They got the big running back Elijah McFadden. Did you take him on?
Yeah, I actually got a face mask on in one play.
But that's not good.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose, but it was like that's how physical he is. I didn't know I had a face mask until after the fact. But yeah.
But you're still, man, you've had a great season. You're still tied for the conference lead with 4 interceptions. You and Xavier both have 4 interceptions.
Yeah, twin. He plays safety. He actually plays a big role in defense. To be honest.
Now, who was your main matchup? Because I know you play corner, and you were out there with Reggie Bryant. Was that who you were with mostly?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, to be honest.
Well, I mean, but it matters to me because I'm asking the question.
It doesn't matter. Like, whoever comes on our side, we're not really switching.
You're not switching sides.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not giving away. I'm not saying nothing. Just know we're going to play our defense.
Well, 71st doesn't pass the ball a whole lot anyway.
Yeah.
So when you're this week, they do pass the whole lot because Cape Fear comes in averaging 185 yards per game through the air.
Yeah.
And they've got a couple of big wide receivers. A.J. Baldwin is their number one receiver, 19 yards per catch, 11 touchdowns. When you look at A.J. Baldwin on film, what makes him so good?
Just catching, to be honest. It's catching and the breakaway speed that really gets the corners. And that's one thing that we are keen on this week against them. So
what do you got? Do you need to jam him at the line of scrimmage? Because it seems like he runs good routes.
I'm not saying nothing about our defense because I don't want no hush puppies getting thrown my way. So I'm just leave it at that. We got something for him.
But he runs good routes, and then quarterback's got a cannon of an arm. Well, he does have a cannon. You can agree or disagree, or you can say no comment.
No comment.
You can't just just do that.
No comment. I mean, our quarterback got a cannon too, so.
Oh, you can talk. Okay, so tell me about Julian here. What's it like facing him every day in practice? Does he burn you, or did you pick him off?
He push us in practice all the time.
How many interceptions you got in practice?
How many receptions?
Interceptions.
A couple.
I mean, do you pick Julian off in practice?
Sometimes.
I mean, I know you can't hit him.
No, they blow the whistle right before.
They'll blow the whistle right before you nuke him.
Yeah.
So this week, last home game at Harold K. Warren Stadium during the regular season. What's it been like, your time at Pine Forest? What are you gonna?
It's been good. It's been nice.
Are you gonna miss the Cheerios at the coach's house?
It's Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms. Okay, I'm sorry. They're magically delicious.
Yeah.
You got a little leprechaun in your pocket? Okay, just checking.
Nah, but it's been good. They taught us a lot on and off the field. But you know, that's how it is with each group. You gotta go. Time goes on.
Father Time is undefeated, is he not?
You gotta go. So,
here with Nate is Dangerous. Nate Graham, cornerback for the Pine Forest Trojans, talking about senior night coming up. What's it meant for 4 years pulling on the green and gold and representing your school?
It's been a lot. Like, to be honest, I used to think Pine Forest was that was like the place to go. I even painted my wall like Pine Forest, and I had my number up there and everything. Like, I wanted to go to Pine Forest. Like, that was like my dream high school, and it was like, ever since then, that's how it's been. So I dedicated my sport to them. So that's how it was.
All right. So, are you looking at going and playing on Saturday somewhere next year?
Oh, yes. I'm patient. I'm gonna be patient with my scholarships and stuff. But hopefully they're gonna come in sooner or later. But Yeah, I'm patient.
All right, so Nate wants to play on Saturday somewhere. Yes. Where's the big guy? Come on over, man. We want to talk to you about you. You took a big visit this weekend.
Yes, he did.
We'll be we'll be there with
Yes,
Nate
he
on
did.
Friday night at Harold K. Warren Stadium, 7:00 kickoff. Just come on.
He can't walk. He can't walk through the camera like that. That's what I was saying.
It doesn't matter.
He walked around.
I mean, y'all throw me off so
I
bad.
was saying he could have.
Y'all throw me off so bad. So senior Nate Glover. Yeah, you can stay there.
No, I'm gonna live on Mansfield.
All right, Nate Graham. Give a round of applause for Nate Graham. NateIsDangerous.com. Matthew, man, you had a little injury. You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, it's your left hand. That's all that matters.
Yep.
You had a big weekend, man. Tell us about it.
It was fun. It was a good game.
Well, I mean, tell everybody. I mean, I know what you did, but then not everybody knows what.
The Army Air Force game for an unofficial visit.
And that's in. You went up to New York.
West Point, New York. Yep.
So
And Air Force One. So.
You know, you'd have to cut your hair if you went.
Yeah. So. I don't know about that, but.
All right, coming up this Friday night, you get to face probably the best quarterback you've seen all year. And we know you've seen the great running backs, but Justice Galloway Velasquez really is a load to bring down. He's 6'4", 230.
Yeah, he is. I mean, last year we had a pretty good game plan against him. I think we had him to like 20 yards rushing or something like that. But he threw all over us, and we weren't healthy. We didn't have Julian or anything like that. And, I mean, we got the same plan in place pretty much. I mean, you stop two, you stop their offense. They got good weapons, but he's a centerpiece. So
he is a centerpiece. What is it? His arms? It is his feet, his legs. What makes him so dangerous?
I think it's mental with him. I mean, you see him punishing people on film like he does, and then some guys on your team just aren't going to want to take that, go head to head with them. So, I mean, we saw him last year and we did pretty well with him. So I think we have more confidence watching last year's film. The teams do, seeing him on film. Like, I mean, he's got a crucial stiff arm. I'll give him that. You see it on film, you're like, ah, dang. But I mean,
he gave a big one Friday night against Southview.
Yeah. But
75. What it was like a 55-yard touchdown run.
Well, I'm not gonna get stiff arm. So.
All right, I hear you. But senior night for you, what's it been like? Not only playing at Pine Forest for 4 years, but playing for your dad.
I mean, it's been good.
I mean, you can say something bad. It's okay. I'm between him and your
Nah,
mom's
it's
here.
been. I mean, I think it goes longer than me just playing there. Like being on the sideline since I was like, I don't know, forever. 5 years old. Yeah, so I was 5, stuff like that. So definitely like the chance. Hopefully not my last home game, but like thinking about like that, it could be my last time playing like there. That's always what it's been a build up to. So it's definitely be emotional, and hopefully we can pull up the dub.
All right. So you went to the military academy, U.S. Military Academy, on your unofficial visit. Is there a leader at the clubhouse turn is for you for next year? Is somebody you like more than you didn't like? Because I know have you been to Air Force? I know Air Force has kind of looked at you.
No, Air Force offered me 2 weeks ago, so I haven't really set up a visit for there. But I'm definitely gonna take.
I'll chaperone him when he goes. If y'all can't make it, I'll go to Air Force. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah,
beautiful
so I'm excited
place.
for that, and we got family who lives there. So yeah, all my options are open, and I'm not gonna really probably make my decision until December, January. So take my time with it.
Take your time and weigh all the factors and make the best decision for you. And we're just proud of you. We watched you grow up, man, and wish you success on Friday night and into the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, that's Matthew Sochovka. That's going to wrap it up here for the Trojan Coaches Show. Thanks to Arrington Duffer coming over here talking about the Pine Forest Marching Trojan Band. Head coach Bill Sochovka. Nate is great. NateIsDangerous.com. Matthew Sochovka. Again, thanks to Riverbark Pet Retreat, riverbarkpet.com, riverbarkvet.com, Ramsey Street, North Bragg Boulevard, and Spring Lake for boarding, therapy, education, pet salon, doggy daycare, and recreation. Man, I need a drink just thinking about it. But we will be back here next Friday night to talk about the Trojans game against the Cape Fear Colts and then preview their playoff action as the state playoffs start next Friday, the 18th of November. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We're coming to you live every Wednesday night from Peaden Seafood and Catering, 1600 MacArthur Road. Call 488-1972, 488-1972 for the best chicken, shrimp, seafood, scallops, deviled crab, fish. Man, when I have to go back there in the kitchen, I mean, it's good. It's really good. So for the Trojan Coaches Show, I'm Billy Mack. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week.
Pack Power Media.